What's going on, everybody? Yeah, Mike Zagare here. We are expecting Tim Jordan. I think he's having a couple technical difficulties, so I think it's been a few minutes. So why don't we get started? I think Tim should join us any minute.
Sounds good. And
Cool with
hey,
everybody?
you're better than nothing, right? Nice to see you,
Better than
Mike.
nothing. You guys are gonna have to deal with me for a few minutes.
Wonderful. So, Mike, do you want to give yourself a quick intro? Tell people like who you are, where you come from, your background.
Yeah, so my name is Mike Zagari. Consider myself a recovering physical therapist. I was a physical therapist for 10 years, and then e-commerce in 2015 came about. Started my own business, and that led to Amazon advertising. At the time, that was like basic bare bones advertising. So I was able to really learn it in depth back then, and now it's become much more sophisticated. We'll talk about some of those strategies on the call today. And I developed PPC Entourage 2016. We have a management services agency as well. And also recently, we got acquired by Carbon6. So this is our first webinar together. I could not be more excited to be part of the Carbon6 family because we could do way more together with them. So excited to be here. And I'm very excited to share this information as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. And just before we get started, I did want to let everybody know that we do have a Q&A feature. So as we go through this, there's going to be quite a bit that Mike covers. And so if you guys have any questions that come in, please just drop them in the Q&A. And the title of this presentation is 7 Tactics to Prep Your PPC for Q4. But talking with Mike offline, it's a little bit of a misnomer, right? The honest truth is there's more like 25 tips and tricks inside of this presentation. So a lot more than 7. Is that true to say?
Yeah, we started with 7 and then it's kind of morphed into like, okay, but we can't forget this, we can't forget that. And then a bunch of new things came up this week that I'm not quite sure a lot of sellers are aware of that I think is really going to help them prep for Q4. So make sure you stay throughout the entire presentation because we're going to be sprinkling that in throughout the entire presentation. And even if I think there was one person who said they were an expert, even that person, I think you will get some value out of this presentation for sure. So excited to dig in.
Oh, yeah, we have some amazing content for you. Mike, I'm going to let you take it away. Let's get after it.
Awesome. Okay, so the first tactic we have here, it's a big tactic, but we want to make sure that sellers learn from their past campaigns and learn from last year. So the first thing we want to bring up is to reanalyze your data from last year. Go back. If you have access to a tool or if you've downloaded the search term reports, go back and look at which campaigns performed really well, which products performed really well, which ad types perform really well, which max types perform really well, and which ones just kind of like drained your budget and you could do without this year. So if you don't have access to a tool that has data for that long, you can go into Seller Central and get this year's data. You can go back to like the beginning of 2022. If you've downloaded the search term reports, you could use that as well. The other thing that's a really good tip is to use the search query performance. So this is like brand new, like a couple of weeks old. They released the search query performance on an ASIN level. So this used to be like on the account level, but now it's available on the ASIN level. And what you could do is you can go back to last December and you can see which search terms you were showing up for last December, where you were getting a percentage of your impressions and where you're getting a percentage of your sales. Now, this screen I want to spend a little bit of time on because it's really valuable and really important in so many areas in your strategy to boost up your potential gains for Q4.
Okay, so and real quick before we jump in, sure. for the novice people, where do they go to find this? Like they're saying hearing, okay, search query performance. Where do they see this inside of their Seller Central?
Yeah, you can go to Brand Analytics to find this. You do have to be brand registered to find this. But go to Brand Analytics, and then there'll be a little tab that says click for search query performance. And then this is the sort of like the newer find, the ASIN view. It used to be just on the brand view, which in and of itself was really helpful. But now what you can do is you could take your ASINs and you could see like which ASINs performed better than others. Even on a parent-child variation level, you can go ahead and you can search for that child variation and see how that child variation did compared to another one.
Very
All
cool.
right, so let's dig into this a little bit. So we have the ASIN that we put in over here, monthly 2021, and we're looking at December of 2021. So we're prepping for and seeing what we did really well for last year. Now keep in mind that the search term impression, this is basically looking for search-based results. It's not sales that resulted from product page sales. So like if somebody clicked on a product page and then saw your product and then purchased yours instead, it's not going to show those sales. This is strictly search for both organic and for advertising. But what's really cool about this is you can start to see, which search terms you did really well last December. You can also see if there's any giftable search terms that did well last December. And you can start to utilize this information to set up campaigns, to improve your listing, to set up even maybe some sponsored brand ads using a headline that resonates with some of these search terms. The point is you now have access to this data, which last year at this time, this was not available to us. So I highly recommend that you go in there. Also, you can use this to see how you stack up on a search term level compared to your competitors. So what are your top search terms and what brand share are you getting compared to them? We're going to talk a little bit more about how you can drive off Amazon traffic, and then utilizing this screen to figure out which search terms to go after. This is going to be really, really important. So we have a lot to get over. And again, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions now, and we'll go back at the end and answer those questions because we do have 10 minutes for Q&A.
I have a question. If you could actually go back. So I was just looking at the search funnel impressions. So you have the search query volume. That makes sense. What does it mean when it says ASIN share, like 3.69%? Is that saying that it's whenever somebody searches that key term, that 3.69% of the time they click on yours first? Or what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so I'll go through the impressions. So a search query volume is how many times that that search term was searched for in this given period of time. That led to this many impressions. So obviously there's going to be multiple impressions of multiple products. So if it was searched this many times, this is the amount of impressions that multiple products got. And then this is the percentage share that our brand got. So we have 3.69% of the total. So, we want to make sure this number is as high as possible, but we could actually see the total amount of impressions of if there was 10,000 impressions, we got 221. And then it goes through
221 out of 259 times we showed up in the top page for this key term. Is that right?
Correct. Oh, well, actually out of 10,000. So it's saying 10 out of 10,000. That's the 3.69.
Okay. Got it. Cool.
So then also it goes through click rate, and then it goes through add to cart and purchases. And it's just a wealth of information because you can start to see how you stack up compared to everyone else that's going after the same search terms.
Awesome. That's great. I love it.
All right, number 2, and this is sort of on the basic side as well. Know your goals. So are the goals to maximize sales? Are you trying to increase brand visibility? Are you trying to clear inventory? It's really important to know your goals, not only just on an account-wide level, but on an individual product level. You may have some SKUs where you want to clear inventory, other SKUs where you might want to drive profitability, or maybe you just want to get break-even sales so you can get repeat customers. It's important to know that going in, because then you can tie that to the KPIs, the ROAS. If you're looking to break even, then there's going to be a ROAS for that and an ACOS for that. If you're looking to get massive brand awareness, then of course that's going to be something you can track as well. And what's a really important one to me would be new to brand sales as well. Maybe this is something that you want to track. It's going to be different for all sellers, but I would know this information before you go into Q4, especially maybe now is a good time to figure that out. And then come up with a plan or a strategy to back up these goals that you have.
Can you expound a little bit on the new to brand? I think a year ago, I didn't even know what that was.
Yeah. So new to brand sales, basically it's exactly what it sounds like, but it's available for sponsored brand video, and sponsored display. You can actually see, how many of the sales that you get are totally new shoppers, new people that are new to your brand, which is really, really impactful, especially if you have a product that you're going to be selling over and over again, the consumable, because then you can start to track your lifetime value of your client, and really, then you can see how your ad dollars are really stacking up. So this is really important because, new to brand it's how you grow your brand. If you're constantly getting new life force into your brand, and that your ads are leading to that and contributing to that, then, your ads are much more valuable, as opposed to just getting, the same old customers.
Makes sense. Thanks, Mike.
All right. So next, this is kind of basic, but really important to talk about. Beef it up. So we're looking to maximize the ad performance of every dollar that we spend on Amazon advertising. And in order to do that, we have to, we have to target properly. Of course, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We have to improve our click-through rate percentage because then we are more likely to get a click and likely going to get cheaper clicks because we're resonating more with the target audience. And then also improve our conversion rate. So we put this in here as beef it up, which is a simple way to improve your listings, make it more attractive, make it more seasonal, and increase the likelihood of getting a click and a conversion. So let's take a look at a listing that has beefed it up, and this is to enhance the click-through rate percentage. As you can see, the listing on top has a lot of badges and has, it says Whole Foods Market. It has a coupon. There is a climate pledge friendly badge. So just the sheer size of this listing, look at the size of the actual image. That's going to help enhance the click-through rate percentage so that you're more likely to get the click. Of course, there's other things we can do for conversion rate. Also, last thing I want to say about this is really think about mobile versus desktop. A lot of shoppers, like I go on my couch and I look through my phone and I shop on my phone. A lot of people are doing that nowadays. So to really get that edge, look at your listings from a mobile perspective and then start to layer in these little ways to beef up your listing and get conversions. So Clayton, I really want to talk briefly also about the listing itself and adding images like holiday images, because that's another way to improve the conversion rate of your listing. Anything you want to add about that or say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I should have probably done this in the beginning, right? But I'm an Amazon seller. I've been doing e-commerce for around 10 or 11 years. I've been selling private label for around 5. And first year or so, I didn't beef up my listings, as you would say, with Christmas listing, with Christmas images. But I started doing that on year 2, and I noticed an immediate increase in conversion. Pretty much after Halloween, I go through this huge makeover on my storefront and my products, and I just think it's really smart. And I think a lot of people overlook it, but that's what most people. I think people are shopping earlier and earlier every single year. So starting in November, like even before Black Friday, my my entire storefront just looks like it got exploded by on Santa Claus, and I think it works. But I think that there's a lot more strategy that I probably could be doing around Christmas regarding keywords as well. But as far as images and copy go, I just have the same images that I use year over year, and I change my copy out. Is that kind of what you're suggesting, or am I missing something?
Well, you could also do holiday-based images, and you could take some of the search terms that you found in the December search term query report and see if there's a gift-related image. You could put the text overlay in one of your images using that search term. There's a bunch of things you can do to make it more Christmassy. Add a gift.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have little kids holding the present, looking super happy.
Right.
Like Photoshop, right? Big smiles. I think I learned that a long time ago in marketing. The more humans you can have, people in the pictures looking happy with it, especially around Christmas time, that increases sales. But yeah, keep going. I interrupted.
All right. So let's get on to the next tactic. All right. So videos, really important. Some of those images that you have in your listing can be turned easily into videos. And it's really an important strategy to build out your videos, especially now, because we have something that is very new that I just actually found 2 days ago that I want to share. So let me first talk about something else new that I found last week with our team is the ability to create videos. We'll share the link to this, but this is inside of Amazon, and they have a video creator now. Now, let me just preface this by saying the videos are pretty bad at this point. The tool itself is pretty clunky, actually. So our managers didn't really love doing this. They kind of also use Canva as well as a way that I think is a little bit better right now. However, these ads are starting to perform really well because we're testing them. And I want to say that some of the templates that they have inside of Amazon inside of this portal are not the best because the actual image itself, if you look over here, is very small as opposed to this one over here. So if you're going to use the Amazon ad video template, which we'll send a link to, go to natural and you'll see it's called Bell Natural. This is the best version that we found. It's got a full image. They're 15-second long videos and they take literally like a few minutes to create. And then you could turn your holiday images into holiday videos. And now you're starting to get a little bit more tactical in your strategy around the holidays. Clayton, anything to add there?
Yeah, I just got a question. If you're saying this is pretty awful, yeah. Like, is it better to just hire somebody like on Fiverr or Freelancer and get like a decently quality video and spend a little bit of money? I think last time I checked, you can get a video for less than $100. Like, is that something that you do or you recommend to your clients, or is this the best we got right now?
This is decent. Actually, the initial performance is pretty good. Our managers are testing it, and it's actually outperforming some of the other video ads that they had that are much more professional. So I think
Really?
you can make them very easily, and then you can test, and you're going to get a bunch of clunkers, and you're going to get some that are going to be winners. So with video, sometimes like the ones that are the most professional don't resonate as much because it's like they're too polished almost, and people like maybe are a little suspect of that. Sometimes you make like a simple video like this or user generated content and it resonates really well. So I would just test because it's really hard to know.
Okay, we got a comment in the chat that said from Ross Cam. They said, "Hey, well, where will you share the video link?" So we can definitely send that out, Mike. If you have it handy, we could throw it in the chat. If you don't, we can send that out via email after, Ross. We'll make sure that we get it to you.
Yeah, we have a document at the end that has all links because we're gonna have a bunch of other links that I'll mention on this. So we'll make sure to get it for you, Ross.
Nice. And one other thing, which I don't know if this like makes perfect sense to mention here, but I have been like implemented it on my own products recently, and it's been working well. It's regarding videos. Um, there's a website, consumerquest.online.
Mhm.
I can put that in the chat as well. But this guy, basically what he does is he reviews products, right? He'll review like 3 products. And whenever he does that, they show up on all 3 product pages. And he usually, if you hire him, talks about your product the most and says that he thinks it's the best. It's not specific around holidays, but he has like 51% conversion or something like that. He did it for like Dude Wipes, and he's like super connected with all the Shark Tank companies. But he also like works at Twitch full time. He just does this as like a side gig, and the people that have used him have just like loved him. And so I highly recommend that guy. His name's Justin Wilhite from Consumer Quest Online. But there's tons of people that do that, right? User generated content from a video perspective has been really, really helpful. And it made me think of it, Mike, because it's not super polished. It's not this like, hey, I'm the brand and this is my video about my product. It comes off as this like very like third party review, and it's just worked wonders for me.
Oh man, that's awesome, awesome tip. And that tip is awesome because it leads right into the next like kind of a bigger announcement. And this is cool. So the next tip, actually, let me go back here for a second. New update, store sponsored brand video to storefront top of search. So this is news to me as of earlier this week, and it was news to a lot of people on our team. We have the ability, if you click on video, it used to just say product detail page, and you would select the product and it would go to its product detail page. Now you have the ability to select a storefront and a storefront page. So as you can see here, we have this store here. You can choose any kind of page on your storefront, and you can drive video traffic over to your storefront I believe as of a couple of days ago. So this is really cool. Check to see if it's in your account. It's not a guarantee that it's in all accounts. As you know, Amazon rolls things out slowly over time. But what I want to here's the drum roll. What's really cool about this is if you look into the ad preview, you'll see that the destination or the actual ad itself, the ad placement is going to be at top of search. So there's only 2 ad placements: top of search mobile ad, top of search desktop ad. And if you look at this, it's going to replace the top of search ads that were there for sponsored brand ads. So this is really cool. You can put a headline, you can put a video, and then you could drive traffic to a storefront page, and it just gives a lot more options for brand awareness. We can tie this into giftable items. If you have a gift storefront page, there's so many things now that you can do with this. And you could take the other tip that we mentioned with the video creator, or what Clayton mentioned, and then see if they can make like maybe a brand awareness type video. Whereas before it was very product based. It's kind of like you're promoting a product going to a specific product page. This could be more used as a brand awareness play. So Clayton, any insight there?
No, honestly, it's good to know, and I like your ideas, but I'll have to give that a go. I've always like more, and this is something probably I think a lot of people can improve on. I've always more focused on sending traffic directly to the ASIN, and I think that I could have in the past done a better job of building a brand, right? Instead of building like individual products that are profitable. It's great to have those, but I've always sent more traffic specifically to my products, and now as I mature as a seller, I'm spending more time thinking about my branding and my branding, I guess. So this is something where I need to improve on, and I'm sure other people do too. I'd love to hear in the chat if anybody has any thoughts on this, but yeah, I don't have a ton to add there.
Awesome. All right, so let's go on to the next one, which there we go. Okay, so generate unique holiday headlines. So actually, I skipped one. Create a gift storefront page and drive traffic with sponsored brand and sponsored brand video ads. So this is something that I think is underutilized as well. You have the ability to create any kind of storefront page that you want. Why not create a gift storefront page? And then you could potentially make that a little bit more unique around the holiday times. You can change it up for other holidays. But the point is you can drive traffic to a gift storefront page if you have a giftable item. And then you could take the last tip that we just mentioned with a video and drive traffic to this page, or just use sponsored brand ads to drive traffic to this page. So if you have a gift storefront page, let us know in the chat, because I think this is a pretty easy win that you can drive during this time of year. I think it's a pretty easy win, set up these types of storefront pages. All right, next is holiday headlines. So as you can see, we're starting to get more specific, and coming up with more unique headlines is one of the ways to do that. Let me show you a tool that we have inside of the Entourage page. Now we're gonna have a link for this. So when you go to this page, you'll see there's all different types of headlines, and we have one specifically for the holidays. And this is just a way for you to get some ideas, and you could copy these or just use them as like templates, and maybe it'll spark some creativity on your end. But the point is, you can make specific headlines using your sponsored brand ads, now sponsored brand video ads, and even sponsored display ads, using some of these holiday headlines. So check that out. Let me give an example here. Give your love the gift she really deserves. So you can copy this. You could add a call to action, and
super corny.
What's that?
I said that's super corny, but stuff like that works.
Yeah, we use corny headlines work the best. No, that's not true. 3 perfect skincare gifts. Shop now. Santa asked us to give a huge sale. We deliver. Okay, yeah. So we do have some corny headlines here, but the point is, you can make more specific headlines for the holiday season.
And I think if you do that right, just whatever's working, A/B test it, and do the same thing for your off Amazon advertising, right? Implement this into your Google, Facebook ads, wherever. Whenever you find out what's working, just spread it across, I think.
Absolutely. All right, so the next one, I'm going to skip the headline here, but I want to show you this. This is an email campaign that you can send out if you have an audience. As you can see here, this audience is very small. It's only 26 customers. But if you're utilizing all the strategies to build an audience, you could even use ads to build your audience using sponsored brand ads and now sponsored brand video ads. It's a good idea to really build your audience and build a brand on Amazon. And one of the benefits to that is they're giving you the ability to reach out to your audience and suggest a gift. So let's say you have a new product or something that's giftable. You could then select Black Friday or Cyber Monday. And within this time period, you can actually email the audience which ASIN you think might be a good gift for their family or for their friends. So this is a cool little hack that you could definitely take advantage of. Hopefully you have more than 26 customers on your list, and you're actively growing them, using the various strategies that Amazon gives us to do that.
Real quick, we got some, I'm privately chatting with Ross. Hi, Ross. It was nice meeting you in Australia. We also got a message from Leo, and he said, and it looks like he just sent it to the host and panelists, but it says headlines are huge. Linking the headline to the keyword and tying in some emotion, my click-through rate improves substantially. So that's exactly what we're looking for, guys. Anybody that's having any wins out here, love that you're sharing it with the community and figuring out ways to share that success. So thank you, Leo. Keep the great suggestions coming, but wanted to read that for you real quick, Mike.
But, yeah, that's awesome. And going back to the beginning of the presentation, you can go back to last year and look at the search query performance, go back to December, and then make customized headlines using the top search terms that, really worked last year, and just up your game a little bit by making specific headlines for that search term, do an exact match campaign or maybe a phrase match, and boom, you're cooking something nice, but the point is you got to build it out. It does take more work, it's definitely more work, but the payoff could be very, very big.
Yeah. And I saw something come out of like Seattle yesterday, the event that's going on there. I think it might be AMZ Innovate. I might be getting that wrong. But they just did a big release about how you're going to be able to use email through Amazon more effectively to target customers. So maybe we'll cover that in a blog or a news release. If you guys are part of our community, which you can find at like carbon6.io, and join our Facebook group. We put out a lot of information like that out. But I literally just saw yesterday that they released something. I think it's in beta, but it was very similar to what you were presenting. I'm not sure if it's the exact same, but very similar.
That's amazing. Yeah, it might be it might be something new, because Tim was mentioning it too, and I showed him that screen, and he said it was something different. So it's probably something new. Let's definitely do something on it. And by the way, everyone, I just want to say Tim is having some technical difficulties, so I'm not sure if he's going to join us, but I just want to say that if you're expecting him, he is having some technical difficulties. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah. Very sad situation, but we're getting through it. We got Mike here, and Mike is an absolute legend when it comes to PPC. So we're in good hands.
All right, guys. So now we're on to get ready to make a splash. Just one quick thing. We had really boring titles for all of these slides. And then like everyone was like, okay, you got to make it much better. So get ready to make a splash is essentially like getting ready for the holiday season now in preparation for a big holiday season. And what does that mean? That means like knowing the search terms that you want to rank for, figuring out where you're ranking for those search terms compared to your competitors, and then prepping for that. That could be like making targeted exact match campaigns or doing external traffic. We have a tool in our suite called Pixel.me, which is really good at this, at driving external traffic to targeted keywords. And we're starting to get some really good wins with this. You could clearly see the before and after of combining like top of search, sponsored product ad traffic with external traffic targeting the same keyword or a keyword that has that root keyword in it. So just want to say that like if you're looking to rank for a keyword that's going to start to ramp up at a certain time, the best time to start doing that is before the ramp up in traffic, because there's going to be less people, that are going to be competing against you, which, it's going to be much more cost effective to do beforehand. Clayton, anything to add there?
I mean, I love this. I just love this. I think this is a great idea. It makes sense. I have not done it as early as I should have in the past. And it's just great. And I will say that, I spend a lot of my time talking about Pixel.me and external traffic. I think at Carbon6, I'm one of the leading experts when it comes to that. And I think that's the best way to rank in 2022, but also launch products in 2022. And the same goes for like any keywords that are seasonal, right? What we're talking about is like seasonal keywords. The best way to rank for those is push some external traffic for those, and you'll shoot up the rank. Same thing for words that aren't seasonal. But I mean, the tip that you're adding here, I think this is super juicy. Like, I love this. You're ranking for stuff before the crowd jumps in, and then you don't have to like fight tooth and nail and spend a ton of PPC to, rank up because you're already there. And now people are trying to play catch up. It's just the earlier you can get after this, the better. And my thought process is like right after Halloween. Do you agree with that? Or is that too early or too late? Or what time do you think like before the increase? Like, when is the increase? Like what date are we telling people to do this?
The best way to do it, but you have to really look at the numbers and see like when it starts to ramp up. Like a lot of the keywords are going to start to ramp up even now, like slowly. And then after Halloween, it'll ramp up even more. But like you can start to see the increase now. And this month, especially, it's like, geez, I can't believe it's mid-September already. This is when it's like time to really start to think about that. So okay. I would look at, Google Trends. I would look at your search term tool, the search term query performance to see when these impressions start to ramp up. And then once again, just get ahead of the wave as much as you can.
Absolutely. Okay. Real quick. Leo, you had a question. What kind of URLs for external traffic? Super URLs or clean? The answer there is clean. 100% TOS compliant. We ran a case study. The keyword rank increase was incredible. Leo, we can talk off cam about that. But yeah, we do not recommend any gray hat, black hat stuff whatsoever. But let's keep going because we got a lot more to get through. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do this. So creating brand awareness using sponsored brand video, and sponsored display. So this is super important to start before the holiday season, because if you are looking to, create a splash during that peak season, getting people aware of your brand now is going to help, especially now that you can retarget those people using sponsored display ads or DSP. It's really critical to get as many touch points as possible. Now, also, you could use sponsored brand video, like we just showed, sending traffic to the storefront and let people know more about your full scope of products that you have. So that's another way to get brand awareness. But just making sure that, what I actually really like is going into that search query performance and checking out to see, which of the search terms are like browse based, like when people are like browsing, versus like in high intent, purchase intent based. Like some of the search terms might have really high click through rate percentage. So people are just like there to purchase right now, versus the ones where maybe it's a little bit lower. They go to page 2, they go to page 3. So that's more like you have the opportunity to maybe get a lower cost per click, but also get some brand awareness going for some of your key product lines. Definitely the search query performance will sort of tell the story. That search query performance is really powerful too, because you can sort of see like if somebody's searching for like more than one of your products, you can see the drop off. It's great to see the drop off of like, for example, somebody was looking for two products, like a bundle, and you could see like I only sold one. So like the click-through rate just like goes like half of what it normally was. So you can start to see a bunch of trends. And the reason I bring that up is you can find the browse-based search terms and target those in your ads. Clayton, anything to add there?
Just that I can tell you like numbers, you nerd. No, I'm joking. Me too. I'm a finance guy. So just a quick suggestion that if some of this stuff is going over your head, guys, find somebody, and if you have a weakness when it comes to data analytics, find somebody whose strength that is. This is really important stuff. Diving into the numbers and knowing your business is essential for succeeding in 2022. You used to be able to throw up anything on Amazon and succeed. That's not the case anymore. And data analytics is a huge part of being successful. But I don't want to take up too much more time. We're going to stop in about 8 minutes for some Q&A. So let's keep ripping, Mike.
All right, we're going to rip through these quickly. So this one, I hope, goes without saying. Limit your research-based campaigns. Keep in mind, there's going to be a lot of window shoppers. There's a lot of traffic. This isn't really the time to do a ton of research. If you do have research-based campaigns, that could be also considered like an auto campaign. Then consider reducing the budget on those, because you might spend more money on those research-based campaigns. It's also, broad match, phrase match. Those could be considered research-based campaigns. So just to sum this up, this isn't the time to be testing dozens and dozens and dozens of keywords. I would go into Q4 like a fine-tuned engine and be ready to rip. Anything there, Clayton?
No, let's keep going.
Avoid generic keywords like gifts for me. I actually want to search, if anyone can go on Amazon and search gifts for me, because I don't know if anything would pop up. I don't even know what that
right
is.
Now. But I'm in Australia right now, so I don't know. It doesn't matter. But let me change it. Keep going.
Interesting. That's supposed to be like gifts for mom or gifts for dad or something. But the point is, avoid general keywords like gifts for me. If you have a specific keyword like gifts for barbecue, gifts for men, or beef jerky gifts for men, or something like that, that's like really long tail and specific, then you might get better results from that. But this could drain your budget like really fast if you go and after these generic keywords. So unless you have the budget, avoid these really, really broad keywords. Next thing is, this is a pretty cool opportunity. Search for gift in the new Amazon audience section for sponsored display. So if you go to sponsored display and you type in gifts, you'll see that there's a bunch of in-market audiences under different categories where people are searching for these particular gifts. So bakery, dessert gifts, baby gifts, snack food gifts, there's a bunch of them. As you can see, I think it's 45 results. So head on over to that section under your sponsored display to see if there's any audiences that you can test that are in market and ready to purchase. Next, retarget shoppers using views remarketing. So this is pretty important, because now we can retarget shoppers that are viewing our products or even viewing our competitors' products. I asked our managers like which date range works, which look back period works the best, and they basically said to me, test across the board. So you could test like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, even 60 days. But the point is, do views remarketing and remarket to the people that have already looked at your listing. The one thing I also want to say about this is it's very possible. I believe Prime Day is coming up, Prime Day number 2 in October. So I don't know if has there been any news on that, Clayton? Or am I making stuff up?
I mean, no, I think you're right that there was like basically 2 Prime days. Like they did something similar last year. I mean, as many like big event days that they can get where everybody's talking about Amazon, like they're going to keep doing this. But no, I haven't heard anything new except for that there's, it's coming up.
So in October, if there's Prime Day number 2, that means you can increase the look back period to like 60 days, and you can target all that fresh traffic that came in during Prime Day and retarget them with a strong call to action with your sponsored display ads.
Yeah, retargeting also is, immediately my brain goes to Pixelme. We could do an entire webinar just on the importance of like remarketing or retargeting. It's usually lower cost and higher efficiency, so more likely to convert. But we're going to go for 5 more minutes, and then we're going to have some Q&A. So guys, please drop some questions in the chat. I'm not going to get to them until I'm going to let Mike keep ripping through this to get you guys as much value as possible. But start thinking about questions so we can get to those. All right, Mike, keep going.
All right. So next tip, if you're low on budget, consider day parting. There's a lot of software tools, including PPC Entourage, that can help you with this. Essentially, what happens is at the beginning of every day, people's budgets come back in. People have budgets for that day. So there's the most competition like early in the morning. So what happens is like the highest cost per clicks occur at the very beginning, early part of the day, when there's the least amount of shopper intent to purchase at that time. So if you're limited on your budget, you can consider starting your ads like later on in the day, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, so that you let your competitors fight over the high cost per clicks while you sit in bed resting easy. Now, just keep in mind that you have to test this, and this is just a strategy like not for everybody. You have to really test this out, but it is one little hack. Okay, next thing, align ad spend with inventory and stockouts. Super important. Like, what's the point of spending on ads if you're going to stock out? Like, I'm of the belief that maximize profits at this point. I think a good rule of thumb is if you're going to stock out and only be out of stock for like a week, then maybe you want to continue your ad spend. But if you're going to be out of stock for longer than that, then maximize profits. The point is like, try not to stock out. If you're having trouble with your stock outs, So Stocked is an amazing tool. I'm going to give them a plug, part of the Carbon6 ecosystem. But definitely try to align your ad spend with your inventory because you don't want to spend more than you have to.
Yeah, makes me think of marketing-minded inventory, right? Every time you're thinking about doing a lightning deal or decreasing your price or increasing advertising, anything that's going to have an uptick in sales, you need to be thinking about inventory. I know that year 1, I ran out of stock on products multiple times. It was like I just could not keep in stock. Got a good inventory management tool, and you prevent that. And it's not just the sales that you miss out on when you run out of stock. It's also the ranking decrease, right? If you're out of stock for a month, you have to fight tooth and nail to get that rank back. And that sucks. Everybody knows that sucks. So inventory is boring as hell. I hate it, but it's super important. So pay attention and align your ad spend with inventory, exactly like Mike is saying.
All right, next thing, defend your turf. I'm gonna also couple this with it, try to improve your conversion rate. So if you are defending your turf, meaning you have ads on your actual listing, there's less likely of a chance that people are going to click off your listing. So you could do this with all 3 ad types: sponsored product, sponsored brand, sponsored display. Currently, you can't do it with sponsored brand video, but I'm sure they'll be adding that because it's just more inventory, ad inventory for Amazon to make money on. But the point is defending your turf by making sure people don't see other brands. That's important, but also maximize your turf by doing things like brand story, and also the A++ or enhanced. It's oh my gosh, it's A++. Yeah, the new A+ content, premium A+. It's called. Well, if you want a good example of premium A+, which you have to have brand story to get premium A+, look at Bose, and you'll see the difference of like a regular listing versus or premium or A+ versus premium A+. The naming is terrible. But check it out and go to Bose's site and see. They are doing a great job at like maximizing the space on their listing, which ultimately is likely going to help with conversions. All right, next
we're gonna like Bose, right?
Bose, the speaker.
Okay. And I've just came to think of it. We've been answering the questions as they come in. So I think the best value we can add is just spend like 5 more minutes, get through the presentation. Let's finish the presentation. And if there's questions at the end, we can get to them. We got a little bit like late start too, because we were waiting on Tim. So like we've really put you on the hot seat, brother. So take your time. Let's get through it.
Awesome. So next, clean up now. So if something's not performing now, it's going to be magnified in Q4. If something's performing well now, it's going to be magnified in Q4. Just keep that in mind that, clean it up now. Like if you see search terms that are not performing, you could do negatives. If your bids are out of whack, you can optimize your bids. Look at your conversion rate, like all sorts of things. Spend some time now to clean it up versus like 3 weeks into Q4. And it's like, you're just spending a ton of money at that point. Keyword bleeders, zero sale targets, all of that stuff. All right, next, consider modifying bids. Now, this is up for debate. Consider modifying your bids up to 25% after Black Friday. Now, the reason being is a lot of sellers are going to get that email from Amazon saying, "Hey, increase your bids," because it's Black Friday and there's going to be more competition. So that means that could drive up the cost per click. And the placement that you might have been getting before, if you don't modify your bid, you may not still be getting. So the point is, consider modifying your bid. We suggest up to 25%, and then watching to see if you're still getting the same impression share and is still getting the same placements after you've made those modifications. Hopefully you won't have to do this. Clayton, any take on that?
Yeah, just that I hear people argue both sides. Like I hear other people, hey, if you have something working, like don't freak out, don't over analyze like the fact that Black Friday is one day. There's a long Q4 season and the idea is profitability. So if you have something that's working going into Q4, exactly to your previous point about cleaning things up, if stuff is cleaned up and stuff is working, I generally like leave stuff as it is. But I understand that both sides. So people argue about this. I wish there was like a clear answer. I think it depends on how competitive the niche is, to be honest. So I think you can go either way with this. But just to be clear, what you're saying is you would never increase more than 25%, like on your average bid. So
I wouldn't say never. I would say suggest up to. I mean, that does say that here, but you can. It's really dependent on the brand.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe
so like
this one is like.
Maybe they're selling gifts, and it goes up considerably after Black Friday. Like it really depends on the brand itself.
Okay, fair enough. So maybe like take a deeper look. This is not going to be a one size fits all. That's fair.
All right, let's go on. So death by 1,000 paper cuts, the negative word finder. This is a feature that we have in the bulk engine for PPC Entourage. If you're good with spreadsheets, then go for it. You can figure this out through spreadsheets. But essentially what we're finding is the common word, like the theme in between all the words that are not converting. So what we do is we strip down the search terms into profitable versus unprofitable. And then we find the individual words that link to the unprofitable sales. And you could see how much wasted ad spend you have on an individual word. So you could take that individual word and do a negative phrase match, which means every time somebody uses that individual word in a search term, you're not getting any impressions, which is good because it doesn't lead to a sale. So this is a great way to knock out some of the one-hit wonders that like you get that one click, but no sale. So you really don't know, you can't really act on it. But now there's common themes between all of those search terms that have one click and no sale. You can find themes and sort of knock them out as much as you possibly can. It's a great way to do it. All right. So next we have balance your budget. Of course, everyone's going to have a budget. Maybe you don't have a budget. That'd be great if you want just scaling. But if you do have a budget, balance it towards the better performing campaigns. Make sure like a quick little win you could do is look at all the campaigns that are performing above your ACoS targets, and then maybe reduce some of those budgets, and then or the research campaigns like we talked about before, and balance it towards some of the other campaigns that are going to be more profitable for Q4. Consider pausing low converting targets. You can actually do this inside of Entourage or Seller Central. There's a targeting feature. Just filter by conversion. I was looking at it today, like, conversion less than 5%. And you can then filter by spend and see all of the keywords that are underperforming quickly. And just, keep in mind that if they're underperforming now, they're probably going to be underperforming later. And you can consider pausing those targets.
I spend low conversion, pause.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it. And
then last but not least, don't forget to lower your budget on the 22nd, because you can see like results fall off a cliff after the 22nd. So, it's like the 21st is very busy. And then all of a sudden, like people like get worried about like, is this going to be shipped on time? So conversion rates tank and ACOS goes up and everything else. So consider lowering your budget at that point. Otherwise, you might have a couple of days of really bad performance. Also, though, like after the holiday season, just keep in mind that people have gift cards. Maybe there's going to be deals. Like maybe they're bored. Like there's a lot that goes on after the holiday season as well. So there's kind of like a period of time that's underperforms, and then it could ramp up again. It's very category specific. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. And this is, I know I have your slide so I can see this. I have something to add to this slide, but I'll wait for you. And then after this, guys, we're going to be wrapping up here pretty shortly. But we're going to have two like cool announcements for you guys, like a couple of things to take away from this. So please stick around rather until the end. And then Mike, I'm going to add something to this slide about outwitting your competition. But yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So piggyback off your competitors with sponsored brand, sponsored product, sponsored display, product targeting ads. So yeah, this is just a way if you can't go after like the highly expensive keywords, you can then target those people who are able to afford it and piggyback off of them. Get some sales from stealing some sales from them. Just be creative with your ads. Like make sure that like your sponsored display ads have custom images or custom headlines. Pick out a good headline that really speaks to the value of your product over theirs, and then just piggyback off of the expense off of your competitors who are paying for that expensive traffic. Mm-hmm. All right, next tip: creative holiday theme posts. So take advantage of posts while the traffic is free and the getting is good. You could use some of those holiday themed images to create the holiday themed posts and put them out there, which is going to show up on your competitors' product pages. I said this before, just want to reiterate to think mobile, because a lot of shoppers are thinking mobile, and I think you should be too. Very important to look at everything from a mobile lens. Last but not least, this was a recommendation from someone on our management team. Create a bundle, and then with that new ASIN, the bundled ASIN, create a sponsored brand ad. And the bundle is going to be like a holiday themed bundle. So let's say you're bundling like two products. You could use a main image that's like Christmassy, or you could use a like holiday bundle. You could actually improve the title to make it like really stand out, so that this bundle now shows up in your sponsored brand ad, and then drive traffic to your storefront page. Then prefer the gift storefront page in this example. So just one more example of getting creative.
I love it.
Which as we go, we know like the people that are the most creative, the more specific, the most targeted, that have strategy plans, everything we talked about in this presentation are going to do really well, as opposed to like just, keeping things as is. We kind of have to think outside of the box. Clayton, what's your tip?
Yeah, so I'm going to make it fast because I want to finish on time. I use AMZ Alert to spy on my competitors. That like goes back into like my marketing minded inventory, like similar idea. Like if my competitor goes out of stock, I want to get an alert. If my competitor raises his price, I want to know about it. If they lower their price, I want to know about it. Most alert systems, you can't do that. It only gives you alerts about your own products. But with AMZ Alert, all you need is an ASIN, and you can track anybody's products. So especially during the holidays, if somebody runs out of stock of inventory, or if they change the price, it's going to have a way bigger effect than regular times of the year. So I use AMZ Alert to like not piggyback, but like spy on my competition, so I know how to react. So quick tip, and it's $1 per ASIN. So especially my main competitors, that's what I do. But let's go ahead and get to the next slide and talk about the two things that we have that are exciting for anybody that's watching and how they can take advantage of it. So talk to me about the Black Diamond Audit.
Sure. Yeah. The Black Diamond Audit is something that we recently started working on, and it is awesome. It's badass. Essentially, the Black Diamond Audit is a total deep dive into your advertising and your branding. So we go into storefront pages, sub pages, product detail pages. We go into listings to make sure your branding's on point. Then we do a full advertising audit as well. We look at your budgeting. We look at your campaigns. Like, are you underutilizing certain ad types, match types, targeting? What's really cool about this is we also do a SWOT analysis. So we tell you what's going really well, what's not going well, where you need help, and maybe even some things that if you don't do, you potentially could lose out on a lot of sales. And it could be very detrimental to your business. So yes, we
and I can just say,
There's a waiting list for this. There's a big
Yeah.
waiting list for
And I
this.
can say just real quick for anybody watching, I've had like quite a few sellers, not quite a few. I've sent a handful of sellers this way, and every single person that had it came back and was like, Ian and Mike's team, like the team was incredible. They found stuff that I would have never found. Like every single, even experienced sellers. And I'm not talking about novice people. I mean, actually like seasoned 4, 5, 6 year, 7 year sellers came back and were just like blown away with the audit and the value that came from it. And um, generally it's like $1,000 value. It's $997. And recently we've been giving it away to special people for free. And now there's a wait list, right? But I kind of stole the thunder. So take it back, Mike. You look sad.
No, no, I can't see your face, which is weird because I'm sharing my screen. But yeah, that's the Black Diamond audit. So Clayton, do we have a list that we're forming for this?
Yeah, we do. When we dropped it in the chat. So guys, this is again, this audit is legit. It's the real deal. And it's free right now. Usually it's $1,000 value. And it just gives you a really good idea of, hey, where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What you need to do to improve? So guys, in the chat, and we'll send that out at the end as well. If you guys want to sign up, there is a wait list right now, but we're hoping to get through that extremely quickly. We're hiring to get more people to help with it. And Mike, thank you so much for the presentation and all the value that you added to the community. We look forward to continuing to have future webinars. We will be in contact with you guys. And I just want to say thank you for everybody for jumping on. And we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, everyone. Great to talk to you.
Bye, guys.